Well, hello, this is Steve Kaempf with the People Not Titles podcast, and I am so excited today to have Ted.Thomas on. It's been a long time that I've wanted to have you on, Ted, to talk about tax liens and everything, and tax deeds, and just purchasing taxes, delinquent taxes. And Ted, I in preparation for this, I got a whole list of questions for you, so I hope you're ready. We're going to do multiple interviews. We do 4 interviews total. Are you ready for me, Ted?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, Ted, first off, thanks for being on.
Well,
and we
thanks for the
appreciate
invitation.
you. And I'm fascinated by your journey and your history, and we can get into that. But we'll just get, let's just get started. Ted, you're in an unusual business, and most people don't know about the business. And I'm sure many people believe that the types of returns you kind of talk about that your students are generating are amazing. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about it?
Okay, folks, so a lot of you are real estate people. So if you're thinking about the real estate market, it's a big market like this, okay? That's a big real estate market. I'm going to talk to you about a little narrow niche in the market, and it's called tax defaulted property, okay? Now, there's tax defaulted property and there's tax lien certificates. All right, so let's do the tax lien certificates, because if you're in Illinois, for example, what happens is everybody has to pay property tax. We all know that. But a certain amount of people, they have some crisis in their life. They lost their job. Maybe they insurance went into default, or the car got damaged or whatever. They didn't pay their taxes. So what the local government's going to do, when I say local government, I mean the county. The county is going to say, uh-oh, slap your hand, you didn't pay the tax, and they're going to issue a tax lien certificate. Nothing more than a piece of paper. That's all it is a piece of paper, a tax lien certificate. Now, why do they issue that? Because the county needs money. So what the county's going to do is they're going to sell your taxes. They're going to sell it to Ted.Thomas or to Stephen or to anybody that'll buy it. Now, why would we buy your taxes? Well, I'll tell you why we'd buy them. Because when you come in and pay your taxes, which basically 95 or 97% of the people will do, when you come in to pay, you have to pay a penalty. You're going to have to pay an interest rate. Now, that interest rate, depending upon what state you're in, Arizona could be up to 60%. I'm in Florida, it's up to 18%. In Illinois, it's all the way up to 24%. So think about that. So you could pay very high taxes. All right, so when they come in to pay, they pay that. Guess who gets that? Whoever owns this certificate. So that's what the business is. Now, there's 2 things that happen. When the county doesn't get paid, if they're in a state that sells tax liens, they're going to sell those tax liens. All right, so you got that right. All right, so now they could sell the actual property, because in certain times, if the people haven't paid their tax, the county is going to confiscate the property and sell it. So that's a business that I've been in for 30 years. It's honorable. It's ethical. It's happening every day. It's happening in every county. Now, when I say every county, there's over 3,000 counties in the United States, and there's over 5,000 of these auctions. By the way, I made a mistake a minute ago. I said in Illinois, you can make 24%, but it's really 18%. They just changed it from 36 all the way down to 18%. And they've just changed that in the past 2 years.
Just a quick question, Ted, on that. So you buy the certificate, and the penalty is charged to the person who was supposed to pay their taxes and didn't, and the full amount of the interest is paid to the person that buys the certificate. The government is just interested in making sure they get their tax revenue.
All the government wanted was that initial payment of getting the taxes paid. Then when the interest comes in, the total payment will come in, and they won't accept it if the interest isn't with it. So both of those attached together, they break that off, and they send it. Actually, they send it to you on your telephone nowadays to let you know you got paid.
Wow. So Ted, can you tell me a little bit about, well, you covered tax defaulted properties. Is there anything more you want to cover on the tax defaulted properties?
Well, you know what? We'll keep talking about that as we go along, but tax defaulted properties happen in every state, but tax lien certificates only happen in about half of the states, about 20 of the states. You happen to be in one of the states that sells tax liens first. Now, I always say the states that sell tax liens are very benevolent, because you see, if you don't pay tax, they can confiscate your property. But Illinois is benevolent. And what they say is, look, you didn't pay your tax. We're going to issue this certificate. Okay. Now,
yeah, we're going to let you keep your home, but we're going to issue a certificate, and now someone's going to pay your taxes for you and get the interest.
Exactly. And if you don't pay in 24 months, guess what? that person gets your property. Woo! You get the property for just the back taxes if you buy those certificates.
And can you do all of this online, Ted?
Every bit of it can be done online. Now, when I started years ago, I used to have black hair years ago. Actually, I had hair and black hair. All right. When I started, you had to go to every auction. I have sat in Cook County, Chicago, and when they auctioned off tax certificates, they had a little 3x5 card. They would read off the number. It took 35 days to sell them all just in Cook County. 35 days. Now they do that all in 2 days online.
Wow, fantastic. So, Ted, is the government actually taking someone's house away?
No, you see, in Illinois, they're very benevolent in Illinois. Now, I'll tell you both sides of this in a second. In Illinois, they say, we're going to issue a tax certificate. Those people have a number of years to come in before they have to get it paid. But when that final day comes, if they haven't paid it, whoever owns the tax certificate gets the property.
Okay. Is it, Ted, it sounds easy. Is it this easy? I mean, or is it complicated?
Well, if you first learn anything, it's like driving a car. The first time you get in, you don't know the brake pedal from the gas pedal. If you step on the wrong one, you scare the hell out of yourself. And if you're close to a tree, you wish you hadn't done that. But the point is, everything sounds complicated. This is simple. It's much easier now than it ever was years ago because they can do everything online. So we teach people to sit on the rusty dusty and buy and make money online. This is a side hustle. This is something you do when they have the auction. Think of the state of Illinois. How many counties they have in the state? All of those counties are going to have auctions at different times. You could be doing your regular business day, do this as a side hustle.
Wow. Ted, we're not talking about pennies here. I mean, can people make, 25, 30 grand on this, or are we making $25 or $30?
I teach my clients when they're buying tax defaulted property, make $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000, or don't even bother with it. So I have testimonies coming in all day long. I'm going to show you a guy right now on video. He doesn't even live in the United States. He lives in in Saskatchewan, Canada, and he buys in the United States because when his market dropped, he wanted to buy here. I told him to start out with residential lots. Listen to what he made on his first residential lot. This is just a short video.
My name is Kelly Osmack, and I'm from Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm a Ted.Thomas student. I had purchased a lot in Riverside County, at Riverside. I purchased it for $35,000, and after I got my title, I listed it. It was listed for a month, and I got a full cash offer of $55,000 US. After that deal, I went to the Kitsap County in Washington and purchased a 5-acre parcel in Kingston, and I paid $131,000 for that property. It had a 1,300 square foot manufactured home and a barn on the property. Really nice property. I had it listed at $280,000, and I received a full price offer in 4 days.
Well, there you saw it. Right on that video, he showed you. He stayed in Canada. He bought online. I teach people to buy it low at the tax auction, sell it low so you can get rid of it quickly. So he bought it. This residential lot was in California. He was in Canada, and the residential lot was over $200,000, but he ended up buying it for pennies, and then he sold it for a $20,000 profit. Let me show you a second one he did right now. Here's a second one he did in another place. He's going to make over $100,000. You're just going to be shocked when you see this.
I went back to Riverside because it's a great place. I love Riverside for whatever reason. In May, I bought another property. It's in Desert Hot Springs. It's another 5-acre parcel. It's awesome. Yeah, I bought this property for $177,000. 5 acres of land. On Zillow, they had it listed in 2011 for $798,000. There's this house, there's another 900 square foot nanny mother-in-law house, there's outbuildings. It's a beautiful property. I had a realtor go look at it, and he said, yeah, it's in, like, from the exterior, looks like it's in decent shape, depending what the inside is. He said it could range for anywhere from 500 to 800. I'll probably clear 100,000 US on that deal. I've never left my basement office, ever.
All right, now there you have it. That guy did a little bit of fix up. He fixed the roof and he sold it, made $100,000. So that's what these videos are going to be like. You're going to see people making real money. Now, does everybody make that much money? Well, of course not. But we teach people to make $25,000, $50,000, or $100,000. If you've got any real estate experience at all, you want to learn this business. I know it goes against the grain because you've got one business in mind. You're big enough to know two businesses. I'm going to teach you a second one.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, Ted, what can the little guy get started with a small amount of money, like $500, or how does that work?
I could say you get started for $500. So I can say yes to answer your question, but let's face it. Let's buy an Illinois tax lien certificate for $500, and it's going to earn 18% this year. So that means close to 20. That means it's going to earn $100. I'm not in that business.
Okay.
You're going to buy something, you're going to make on it. It's not enough money.
Right.
Now, if you want to buy tax lien certificates and buy multiples of them, now when I show you, let me show you just a newspaper example because I don't have you're going to do this online. This is a list for a place like Fort Lauderdale, Florida, okay? Now, when I say it's a list, it's a newspaper of 100 pages. That's all the tax liens. There's hundreds and hundreds of these tax liens. Florida will have 1 million tax lien certificates available. They pay 18%. Same as they pay there. All right, if you buy multiples of these at 18%, now you're making money. But someone's going to earn $500, I'm going to discourage them. Folks, you don't want to start out with something with $500. You can. If you want to learn the business, we'll teach you how to do it. But you're not going to make, if you make money at $100 at the time, you can't even go grocery shopping for that nowadays.
Yeah, I get that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Ted, are you sure if the property owner does not pay the tax lien certificate, you get the property? Is that like a guarantee?
That is a guarantee, not from Ted.Thomas, because I'm just a guy teaching you how to do it. I'm just a teacher, okay? All right, here's the deal. All right, the first tax, and all of you people that know it because you're real estate people, the first tax is always the property tax. What you did when you bought a tax certificate, you bought the taxes. You now own the first tax on that property. All right, that tax means anything that happens on that property. If you pay the taxes, you then are going to own that property. If that other person defaults and you got the tax certificate, you're going to get the property.
Interesting. If the homeowner doesn't pay the government, what makes you think they would pay you on a certificate?
Well, the government is benevolent in half of the states, but the government has a rule. And the government rule is this: if you don't pay your taxes, they can confiscate your property. Actually, if you read the law simply says it's a privilege to own real estate. You all recognize that from your real estate law. All right, your privilege is you can own that real estate as long as you pay tax. The day you stop paying tax, you lose your privilege. Well, that client has lost their privilege, but you live in a benevolent state, so they issue a tax lien certificate. So when they issue that tax lien certificate, that means they're going to be nice to people for 2 years' time or 3 years' time, whatever the state. All the states are different, but there's a redemption period. That person must come in and pay that certificate. If they don't, you get the property without a mortgage and without a deed of trust loan.
Wow. All right, Ted, what impressed me in our first conversation is the fact that I think you're a guy that doesn't need to do this anymore, but you still do.
Right.
You've been doing it for a long time. What is over 30 years, right? What's
right
behind that? What's your passion for this?
Okay, well, first of all, I noticed that all my friends stopped working and they grew. They didn't grow this way and they didn't grow this way. They grew.
Yeah.
And then pretty quick, the old ticker stops working and whatever. I'm motivated. I like working. I like doing what I'm doing. Yes, I sometimes have trouble with the business. Like any business, you have to solve problems every day, but it keeps your brain working. You can do numbers backwards and forwards. I like working. I'm motivated, but I can tell you right now, I've already created the trust and the wills to do all that. Everything that I make from here on, I'm giving to Habitat. I'm giving everything I have to Habitat. I don't have any relatives. I don't have any kids. I'm giving everything to Habitat. I usually don't answer that question because very few people, you're the only one that's ever asked it for me. So, but everybody, you could ask any of my employees, Ted's going to give it to Habitat. So I like working. I enjoyed it. I still work 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I do hundreds and hundreds of videos. By that, I mean, I've got a video library with well over 2,000 videos in it.
Wow, Ted. Well, I'll just say this. I'll show you this picture real quick. That is us building a habitat home in Ensenada, Mexico. And so that you hooked me. You hooked me there. All right, Ted, I want to close out the session of just letting everyone know that they can watch for the next video because we're going to continue our interview.
Okay.
And then there's an event coming up. And
Right.
can you tell us about the event date, please, Ted? If people want to learn more about it, we can only cover so much during these short interviews.
Right.
But these are really teasers for an event where people can really sink their teeth in and understand this as a legitimate business.
Right. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to do 4 videos. We're just finishing video 1. We're glad to have you here. I hope you're learning a lot. And if you are learning a lot and you'd like to learn more, every 2 weeks on Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern, I open up a workshop class all about tax liens and tax deeds. Now, I'm not the only one teaching in there. I have my own people. I have coaches that work for me in full-time. I have people that are out doing this, and you only learn. My coaches are only allowed to be a coach if they're doing deals today in this market. All right, so
it's not something they did 30 years ago.
No.
And
Yeah, even though the rules have pretty much stayed the same, the markets change, people change, and whatever. So that class is $47. I'm not an internet marketer. I don't give anything away. I make my living doing this. Okay, it costs $47 to go. You can register. If you miss the class, don't worry. You can sign up for the next one. All right, it starts at 11 o'clock. It does not stop. It continues all the way to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This business works for everybody. If you can read and write, you can make money in this business. Now, I don't say anybody can do this as a piece of cake. No, this business you have to work at, but you can make $25,000, $50,000, $100,000. I'll see you in the next video.